Hello all. So I honestly think that many parts of the world, the Middle East, the US, Britain, almost the entire planet is now headed into mass insanity, the human population. The reason I say that is it keeps happening over and over, just stupid decision making. I'll give you just one example. Let's take the US discretionary spending for 2015. $1.1 trillion was spent in 1 year on discretionary spending. In 2015, the U.S. spent 54% of its entire budget on the military. However, we'll talk about that later, but that's only the part that's reported. That's $600 billion on military in just 1 year. $600 billion on killing humans. Now just remember that. Here's some news that some of you won't want to hear. If Trump gets in, he plans on putting 90,000 more U.S. Army soldiers on the front lines, hiring 90,000 more, building 75 new major aircraft carriers and other Navy ships, dozens of new fighter aircraft, which would increase the military spending to $90 billion per year on war. Okay, let's go over and look at some graphs. Let's go look at the spending and how it's broken down. As you can see, there is more military spending on this graph than what they claim. What about veterans? They count for military. Of course, you're having to take care of the military after you release it, but you're still spending the money on them. So if Trump gets in, the official number is going to be 63% of all the spending on the military. Will be 63% of all discretionary spending. That's amazing. But you've got to also include that gray area, that veterans area. That's part of the military. Got to include that. So that brings that up, what, almost 70% or 68%, something like that, of our spending is going to the military? All right, well, let's go look at other countries and see what they're spending on their militaries. Here's some more ridiculous stuff. In the next 30 years, we're going to spend $1 trillion once again upgrading our nuclear capabilities. We just did that with Bush and Cheney. Now we're going to do it again? We really need more nukes? And one more thing. We've already, here in the U.S., have spent $5 trillion on the Iraqi and Afghanistan wars alone. $5 trillion. We couldn't have spent that some other way? Why didn't we just buy every person in there and just do it that way? Bribe our way to do whatever we want. If you want a new leader, you have to pay the people money. And if you do that, they'll probably replace their leader instead of bombing. Well, she had a very nice voice, didn't she? Very pleasant to run into somebody in the middle of the woods singing. Mass insanity, I think, happens every now and then with humans and other animals. Once they get to a certain point in their population, it's part of the process of getting rid of the extra crowds, getting ready for famine, war, and you know the rest. It's all out there waiting. But there's no doubt there is mass insanity, especially in our leaders all over the world. We need to replace them, people. I'll give one more plug to Jill Stein. So you may have noticed in my last videos, several of them, that there's this anomaly happening, and my back has been out and I cannot do a proper investigation until it goes back in. But the more I look into that, the more interesting, and we are going to go after that pretty quickly here. Jeez. I'm seeing in front of me as well now. That's the first time that's ever happened. Just saw one in front of me, clear as day. Well, it is day. And for whatever it's worth, we're coming up on our 500th YouTube video since we've been on YouTube. I don't know if I'll do anything special or even announce it more than what I already have, but it would surely be appreciated if you'd go and subscribe and leave me a comment. We had very good comments on my last video. I appreciate all the thumbs up and the thumbs down and the new subscribers. And until next time.